Ever since I was a kid, I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. In fact, when I was 12, I learned how to code. I was building websites. I made a little bit of money through Amazon affiliates. This is a long time ago. But through twists and turns in life, I didn't start a company, not really. And I went on to getting a normal job. And before I knew it, I was 28 years old. I was working in one of the largest hedge funds in the world as an engineer. And I kept asking myself, is this it? Or am I ever gonna go and build that startup, build that company, that big company that I always dreamed of creating? So eventually I did take the plunge, but it wasn't until I was 28 years old. And I didn't just quit cold turkey. I went through a very specific plan to actually take that plunge, to take that risk, get my family bought in, and go scale ToutApp, my SaaS business. So on this episode, I'm gonna walk you through the 3 things that I did to actually prepare to quit my job, start my company, take that plunge, and stop hemming and hawing, finally. Intro. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Unstoppable. I'm TK, author of the book, How to Punch the Sunday Jitters in the Face, entrepreneur and angel investor. On this channel, I help startup founders, business owners, entrepreneurs, and in this case, future entrepreneurs like you become unstoppable in your life and business through belief and discipline. I drop an episode like this every single Sunday and Wednesday. We're so excited. We're gonna be doing 2 episodes a week from now on. And I drop an episode like this with the TK energy, so be sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon so that you get notified every single time I drop an episode. If you currently have a full-time job, a career, and you have always dreamt of starting that company and you haven't taken the plunge yet, I've been there. You are not alone. This is my story. I always wanted to be an entrepreneur, and it wasn't until I was 28 years old that I finally said, you know what? I gotta go do it. Now, I had braces with entrepreneurship on the way. I did a startup in college. We ended up selling it, but very quickly, I ended up in the workforce. And as I ended up in the workforce, I kept optimizing my life towards the things that were checking off boxes and society told me was the thing to do. I got the cool townhouse, I got the sports car, I got a great job. I was doing all the things that was supposed to make me successful, but I didn't feel it. And at 28, I finally said, enough is enough. I gotta go chase my dream. I gotta go do this thing. I always wanted to start a company. I need to go finally do it. But the problem was this, I wanted to go do it, but I couldn't quit cold turkey. I had responsibilities, I had a job, I had a career that was hard to walk away from because it was very promising and I had been successful in my own right up to that point in that career. I also had family that I had to explain my decision to. So all these things were pulling me back from just taking the plunge and doing what I really wanted to do, which was to start a company. So I made a plan and I followed these 3 steps that I'm gonna walk you through that I followed to actually make that transition from being an engineer at a company to actually taking the plunge and starting that startup. Now, the story for ToutApp, if you haven't seen it, and if you're new to the channel, is I ended up quitting my job. I started ToutApp. I raised venture capital from Andreessen Horowitz, Jackson Square Ventures. I scaled the company. I ended up selling it to a market leader, and then I joined that market leader as SVP of strategy, and we sold that to Adobe. It was an incredible journey, but it was the scariest thing ever. If you were to rewind back to that moment where TK, baby TK, actually said, all right, I'm gonna quit my job, it was super scary. But I prepared, and that made it possible. So if you're excited to dig in on the 3 steps that I took, go ahead and smash that like button. It's for me and the YouTube algorithm, and let's dig in. Step number 1 is clarity. You gotta get clarity. The thing that I ask entrepreneurs whenever they come to me is, why do you wanna start a company? Why do you wanna start a business? Who do you wanna serve? What is your why? Why do you actually wanna do this? And how will you feel when you actually go and start that company and scale that company and go accomplish that goal? What are you gonna feel? And most importantly, who are you gonna impact? What will that mean to you, your family, your loved ones? Why are you doing this? You gotta get clarity on, do you wanna go into entrepreneurship? And entrepreneurship is actually very hard, but it's fully worthwhile. So you gotta really be in it to win it, otherwise you won't make it. So you gotta get clarity into why. Why do you actually wanna do this? How will you feel when you actually accomplish this? And what is the impact that you're gonna have in this world that you want to have, which is why you wanna go start this company. It's gotta come from within. And if you don't get clarity, what'll happen, and I see this a lot, is you'll keep hemming and hawing. You'll keep going from like, no, I gotta do this career thing, it's going pretty well, it's safe, to this, I gotta do this startup. And what you end up with is years can go by and you'll be neither here nor there. You will no longer have that great career, nor will you have that company, and you will just be wondering, where did the time go and why did I keep second guessing myself? So you gotta get clarity into why you wanna start your business, why you wanna do a startup, whatever kind of business it may be, but you gotta get clarity into it. Now, the one thing I always point out is going into entrepreneurship isn't necessarily the best scenario for people. So I did an entire video, it's the best jobs to take on in your late 20s and early 30s. So you can check that out here, and I'll link to it down below. You can check it out at the end of this video because I have more for you here. But I go into other alternative careers that you can go into that could be fulfilling. So it may be that you just don't like your current career, but that doesn't mean you have to go into entrepreneurship because it's all the rage these days. It's not for everybody. So you can check out that video later if you want to consider other options. Step number 1 is you gotta get clarity. The second step that I took, I actually got clarity. I'm like, well, why do I want to do this? Why is this? I'm like, I really wanted to start a company. I really wanted to. I love building software. I love building companies. I wanted to do it. And I had a taste of it during college, during my first company, but then entered the workforce and I wanted to go back to that and wanted to go all the way with it. So I got that clarity and you should too. The second thing you gotta get very clear on is you gotta set a vision for yourself and you gotta change your identity. You have a certain view of yourself right now. For me, I was an engineer. I was a little bit of an awkward engineer, and I didn't even go by TK. I went by my middle name, Tweed, and you don't even pronounce it as Tweed, and no one else could pronounce it. It's actually Tawheed, and it was just, my identity was all messed. And so what I did was I sat down and I actually decided on, all right, who do I want to become? Who do I actually want to become? And I wrote down that I wanted to run my own company. I wanted to build my own SaaS software company. I wanted to actually have a team that I could celebrate with. I wanted to be someone that made an impact in the world and left it better than he found it. I wanted to be someone that was actually being able to communicate the impact I'm trying to do and convince people and sell and market and build incredible stuff. I wanted to create that version of me. And you follow these videos. If you're new here, welcome. But if you've been following me for a while, you see me as this guy, this TK. I made up this guy from nothing. I was an awkward engineer and I crafted this vision of me of who I wanted to become and the companies and the things that I wanted to create, and I created that. And that's a vision. And that's something, and that's an identity of you that you're gonna go create. I thought of it as the version 2.0 of you. And what I want you to do is actually create that vision and that identity for yourself. And the biggest question you can answer for that is, who do you want to become? If you want to learn more about just how I did that and my own journey in creating this vision for myself and making it real, check out this video I did on the law of attraction. Now, look, I don't talk about frou-frou stuff on this channel, but I did it for the law of attraction because the evidence and the results are in that video. So you don't have to watch it now. I'll link to it below. But check out that video and you'll see what I did right before I wrote down that vision for myself and crafted it in a very specific way, and then what happened 10 years after. So the second step is you really got to create that vision and that identity for yourself after you get that clarity. Now, before I go into number 3, and I will go into number 3, and I will link to the videos I just mentioned down below so you can watch those as well. Are you getting this? Are you starting to get a little amped up about actually starting that company, about creating that new identity for yourself, about getting clarity of who you want to become? If yes, give me a yes down below in the comments so that I know you are with me, all right? Now let's dig into number 3. Number 3 is you gotta trade Netflix time and start. Now, once you get this vision for yourself, once you get this clarity, there's 2 rules of thumb on this, all right? There's 2 groups of people, 2 thoughts, if you will. There's one, which is burn the boats, quit the job, go start the company. And it's valid advice. If you can do that, you may want to consider doing that. It may be a good way to do it. There's a lot of talk in the startup world and in tech about privilege. The thing is, if you are able to just quit right now and go do it, then you probably should, but the reality is most of us, and this was the case for me, I didn't have the privilege to just be able to quit my job. And so I needed to create a plan. I needed to find a way to de-risk this jumping off period as much as possible, to actually save up extra cash, to actually figure out what would work so that when I actually quit my job, I would actually have the runway to go out and build a company instead of running out of money. I also had to get buy-in from my family. I happen to be from Bangladesh, and entrepreneurship is not the most common thing. You kind of have to get buy-in, and to go to your parents and say, hey, I'm going to leave the largest hedge fund in the world where I am too removed from the person that runs it, and I'm gonna go and do this other thing and start a company. It's crazy. And so if you're in the camp where you can just quit right now and burn the boats and go do it, go do it. I seriously think you should do it. And there's a specific way to actually approach this still, but you should go do it. But if you can't quit right yet, which was the case for me, then you don't have to give up hope. And I don't want you to just be like, well, it's impossible for me, because it's not, because I was able to do it and others have as well. What you need to do is trade in your Netflix time. And that's about an average of 6 hours on Netflix that's spent by an average American. An average American spends 6 hours on Netflix. And all I'm asking is, don't even give me the all 6 hours. Take it if you want to, but you give me 3 hours in a day or 4 hours in a day, and start to put it into actually building your startup while you keep your job. Now, if you're part of that other camp where you do have the privilege and you can quit, I would actually tell you to not quit, because something weird happens once you quit. At that point, you're like, well, I really got to figure it out. And there's this pressure on you, and it's really hard to figure out what your idea is going to be and how to test it. If you still keep your job, then, and you start working on this in parallel, believe it or not, it's actually a better way to get to that idea, to get to that thesis of what might work, instead of just quitting cold turkey and getting a WeWork membership and just sitting at a desk and saying, all right, what's my startup gonna be? So no matter which camp you're on, start trading in your Netflix time and start building your startup. In my channel, I have countless videos on how to start a SaaS business. So you can check out this playlist, which goes into more details on actually how to quit your job and start a SaaS business. So that's you can go explore more of those videos as well. And don't worry, I'll link to it below. Just to recap, here are the 3 steps that I follow to actually gain clarity and prepare to make that plunge. And then took the plunge, but by the time I took that plunge, I had a lot of stuff figured out. I was lucky enough to be able to do that. Number 1 is I got clarity on why I actually want to start a business. Number 2, I actually created a vision and an identity for myself that I wanted to drive to. And number 3, I traded in my Netflix time and started to actually work on my startup well before I quit my job. So now you know these are the 3 steps. I'll link to the other videos down below so you can check it out. But I do have something special for you. You might know now how to actually approach this building company thing, but you might not know the steps to actually navigate to an idea, to navigate to a product market fit, to navigate to testing that idea in the market. Good thing for you, I've codified everything that I know around getting a startup from an idea phase to product market fit, and everything that comes in between, from someone that is an engineer and someone that taught himself sales and marketing. I've codified that into my unstoppable guide to product market fit. So I've included that for free. You just have to follow the link below. You can download the guide for free. It'll give you the exact steps you need to follow to actually start with an idea and get to product market fit. So I encourage you to check that out below. If you like this video, please smash that like button, both for me and my team. It means a lot to us, and also for the YouTube algorithm. I drop a video like this every Sunday and now every Wednesday. So be sure to hit that subscribe button and that bell icon so that you get notified every single time I drop a video. And also, if you have a friend that wanted to start a company, if you have a friend that is building a company, please share my video and my channel with them. It will mean the world to us. We want to get our message out to as many people as possible. And lastly, remember, everyone needs a strategy for their life and their business. But when you are with us, yours is going to be unstoppable. I'm TK, and I will see you next week.